What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys the 230,000 subscriber Q&A. And I gotta say, before we get into this, we're gonna be switching up the format a little bit. I'm actually gonna start off with the people over on Patreon first. I'm gonna start answering their questions first, and then we're gonna jump over to the YouTube channel and answer the questions on the YouTube channel. I want to give some time to allow the questions to kind of build up, and I'm actually gonna record more Q&As after I wrap up this main one. So if I don't answer your question in this video, then there's a chance it will pop up in the Q&As that pop up after this. So with that being said, though, gotta say thank you so much for 230,000 subscribers. It means the world to me. Those of you guys who know my YouTube journey and know how rough the last few years have been, I completely appreciate each and every one of you. Reading your comments every day is legitimately one of my bright spots each and every day. You guys have no idea how much you guys have helped me out. So with that being said, let's jump into the Patreon portion right here. So starting out, we have Justin Holt, who asks, I have one. Do you think Ada will convince Kawaki to join the Car organization and betray Naruto? Yes, I actually do think that, and I'm actually gonna be making a video on that. I definitely think that there is a good possibility of it. When you asked the question, I should have done a video talking about how that could actually take place, as far as with Ada and Kawaki and how she could relate to him, given the fact that both of them have been experimented on by Amato. But there's been some extra information that I've gone back and reread some of the stuff and looked at Kawaki stuff in the anime. I've actually got a different idea of how that could actually take place. So yes, I absolutely think so. Baked Potato asks, how do you think Kawaki will regain the Karma Seal in the future? Do you think somehow Ko is involved with that? Okay, so chapter just came out. So I don't want to spoil for fuck. I've already said Ada, so I gotta spoil. So essentially, we know that Kawaki's getting the Karma Seal back, and that shisty scientist Amato is the one giving him the Karma Seal. That's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. Yo, I keep it real with you guys. I didn't see Amato being the one to give Kawaki the Karma Seal back, but the way that he's actually doing it actually makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I agree with DeLorean Williams. That is a good one. DeLorean Williams asked, if Sasuke didn't answer the question he was given by the former Kage, how do you see that scene unfolding and why? Also, what jutsu was Lord Second talking about with that finger? It can't be the 1,000 years of Yo, in my own personal headcanon, because Toby Rama invented so many jutsu, the 1,000 years of death, that's a jutsu that Toby Rama invented. You can't convince me otherwise. Now, as far as with Sasuke's question he was given by the former Kages, what question are you referring to? I'm legitimately drawing a blank on this one, man. I'm gonna feel so stupid when I go back and I read the comments on this. What question are you referring to? What is it, the Raikage having this question with Sasuke in the Sasuke Sunrise novel? Which question are you referring to? That one's now I want to know. Now I want to know. I'm drawing a blank on that one. Keen Mono asks, when will you make content on Eden Zero or Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest? Also, Hiro Mashima also said he's willing to do the next generation of Fairy Tail if people want it enough. Do you think that that's a good idea, and would you be willing to review the Fairy Tail Next Generation? So yes, Eden Zero, I read the manga. I have not talked about on Kryptonian Saiyan, which those of you guys who want me to talk about other anime, Kryptonian Saiyan is where I actually do that at. I've been in the process of right now just uploading twice a week over there on that channel. Jujutsu Kaisen videos over there, Dragon Ball videos over there. I've got some back catalog stuff with Fairy Tail, but I'm gonna be working other series into that platform over there. So make sure you go over there and subscribe. You'll hear me talk about other stuff. Naruto Explained, I'm limiting that channel to 2 series. Obviously, Naruto / Boruto's 1, and I'm gonna add a second series over there to Naruto Explained, where I'm only going to talk about another series one day out the week. I'm not gonna decrease the number of Naruto videos I'm doing. I'm just gonna add one more on there. Still kind of figuring out which series I want to add to Naruto Explained. But Eden Zero and Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest, I am gonna be talking about that once I get Jujutsu Kaisen, that community over there on Kryptonian Saiyan. Once I get that up a little more, I'll definitely be talking about the Eden Zero and Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest. I think once Eden Zero's anime is finally taken out of Netflix jail, I think a lot of people over here in the West are going to fall in love with it because it reminds me of Rave Master, and that's Hiro Mashima's best work in my opinion. And I would support a Fairy Tail Next Generations. Now, Pookie Sanchez asked 2 questions. I would totally pay to hear you read the full novels. I don't know if that's feasible, but it is definitely something I would be interested in paying for. Or maybe it can be included in a tier. Man, you know, I would talk about those in like a long running format and kind of do summaries, not necessarily read it page by page. Not very comfortable reading script like line by line, script by script. I like to talk more off the cuff. You can kind of tell when I'm doing the stuff going line by line like that, but I would totally do recaps of the full novels chapter by chapters in a long running format. That's something I've always wanted to do. I just do it in the piecemeal type format because that's something that I've seen most people like, just getting it scene by scene like that. But I would totally be down for something like that, especially if those novels are actually animated. I would totally be down with doing something like that because it makes it better on the visual when I can actually pull stuff from the anime. Either that or I'll get artwork made for it and kind of tell a story that way. The second question is, would you be about Sarada learning the Byakugo seal to help her chakra control? Well, you need chakra control, peak chakra control, just to be able to do the Byakugo seal. So that's kind of like a backwards question right there. She would need to perfect her chakra control to even attempt it. And it's so complicated that like not even Shizune could do it. Shizune has excellent chakra control. Like there's a reason why it's really only Sakura and Tsunade that have it. You could argue that maybe Mito Uzumaki had it, but I mean, there's a reason why it's so difficult to learn. And he's saying to better help her handle the Sharingan, and if so, who would you prefer her to train with and why? Yeah, so I would love to see her train with Naruto or Kakashi. And obviously Kakashi, because Kakashi was a freaking legend with the Sharingan. You could argue Kakashi used the Sharingan better than some Uchiha, so definitely Kakashi. Duck Duck Don asks, will we see Killer Bee in Boruto? I was gonna make a video on it, but decided to ask an expert first. So we've actually seen Killer Bee in the versus Momoshiki arc. He's still alive. Basically did the same thing he did against Sasuke and Madara and hit himself inside the tentacle of the Eight Tails. I do think we're going to end up seeing Killer Bee again because if you look at the pattern Boruto's had as a series, it's gone village by village. So we've seen Boruto in the Sand Village, we've seen Boruto in the Mist Village, obviously Konoha. We've seen Boruto in the Hidden Stone Village, so the Hidden Cloud Village is probably going to be next in my opinion. And with Duck Duck Don, make sure you guys check out Duck Duck Don. I'm gonna DM you on Patreon, get your information, and I'm gonna leave your channel in the description box so people can check you out. Justin Weinstein asks, why did you pick Naruto Boruto to focus on and not another anime? So that's interesting. That's interesting. So outside of the fact that behind Rurouni Kenshin and Dragon Ball, Naruto's a series that I followed the longest. Outside of those two series, Naruto's the series I followed the longest. I've been reading Naruto since 2001, like late 2001, early 2002, back during the dark ages of the internet. So I've been reading Naruto a long time. Back when it was hard as hell to find translations, you had to use stuff like LimeWire to download actual scans that were put on there, and they weren't high quality, and you would see stuff on various anime fan shrines and you would dig through the forums. I mean, you didn't have like the Shonen Jump app and all that. I'm dating myself a little bit. I don't really care. You guys already know I'm closer to 30, so it is what it is. But you know, I will say this though, you know, like the reason why I focused on Naruto outside of that is over on Kryptonian Saiyan. I started that channel as a variety channel, and I was just talking about like all these different series. Like I was talking about series, a lot of those videos are private now because I showed my face on them. I reviewed a lot of series when I was going through them for the first time, like One Piece and Hunter x Hunter and Fairy Tail. And the Naruto stuff was stuff that really just began to pick up because I had a hunch when I started YouTube. I said, well, the type of stuff that I like to talk about, so like what ifs and lore discussions, the light novels, the data book information, you don't see a lot of channels back then. So this is 2015. You know, you don't see a lot of channels actually talking about that. Back then, there was nobody putting up Naruto what ifs back then. You had some fan animation, but nobody was really talking about that stuff. And you know, I was like, man, I would really love to start talking about that. They do these for Star Wars, they do them from Dragon Ball. I'd like to do it, and you know, my hunch paid off. You know, like I want to say like late 2017, the Naruto videos went from getting like 500 to 1,000 views to I was like freaking out. Like my biggest Naruto video got 3,000 views in one day at one point, and that's when I really just began to double down because it was driving the subscribers. It was the stuff that people were watching the longest. It was the stuff that's getting shared the most. That's really why I just kind of focused on that. And like a little fun thing, like when Kryptonian Saiyan was down for a little bit, the only reason why I called this channel Naruto Explained, I'm not arrogant enough to think that I know everything about Naruto. That's not the case. I only called it Naruto Explained because that was a playlist that was on Kryptonian Saiyan, and I wanted people to know, like, hey, it's me. It's me. So I was like, you know, people like Naruto, so I'm gonna go right for it. I started calling it Naruto Theory because it would be paying homage to one of my favorite YouTubers, Star Wars Theory. But I was like, man, screw it, I'm gonna call it Naruto Explained. That way people absolutely know it's me, and we just been kind of there for, we've been kind of riding with it since then. And as far as adding another anime or not doing another anime, like I said, I am gonna add one more series to Naruto Explained. I'm actually a fan of some of the series, that some of the suggested traffic that's driving some of you guys to the channel. So I do plan on talking about other stuff, but I'm still gonna be doing the Naruto stuff. Jordan Knight's asking two questions. The first question is, do you think the Boruto we saw in the flash forward is stronger than Prime Naruto? Now that Boruto's 80% Otsutsuki, if we say Prime Naruto is Naruto both halves of the QB, chakra from all 9 Biju, the small part of the 6-pass chakra that is confirmed in the light novels, and Naruto still a small part of the 6-pass chakra. If we say that version of Naruto and Baryon Mode Naruto, I would say if he's only at 80% and it hasn't progressed, I can't go that far. I can't go that far because the way I've always looked at it is like Boruto's got his own buffer and everything, and I would think that Boruto's at like 80% of whatever Momoshiki was in his peak, on top of Boruto's own power. That defeats the whole purpose of Otsutsuki evolution. So I would say no, but I think that Boruto in that flash forward sequence probably is approaching some of those upper tiers of the war arc. So those upper tiers like Jinchuriki, Madara, and characters like that, I think it's probably approaching that level. It's hard to say because again, we don't know much about that flash forward. Jordan Knight also asks, who do you think wins in a fight? Sage Mode Pain Arc Naruto or Karma Seal Boruto? Ooh, damn. So who would win in a fight at that point? Boruto is more skilled, and if we give him the Boroshiki transformation, I'd say Boroshiki probably more than likely defeats Pain Arc Naruto using Sage Mode, because that version of Naruto, he's got a limited access to Sage Mode chakra. He and Kurama, they're not in perfect sync at that point. It's just a matter of Boroshiki being able to get to a situation where he can make Naruto use up that nature energy. I think that if you do that, then yeah, not the versus battle expert, just my opinion though. Joshua asks, the 10 tails in Boruto is for God Tree, but do you think that's what's going to happen? No. Do you think it'll become a God Tree, or do you think something else will happen with it? Yeah, I think it's a total misdirection. I think that this is a total misdirection. I don't think that that 10 tails is going to be the God Tree. It is possible though. I mean, you don't introduce something like that and not capitalize on it. DeLorean Williams asks again, yo, if Neji was alive in the Boruto era, what would his role / views be pertaining to Naruto being the Hokage and Boruto and the car organization. Well, I think with Neji, once Neji found out that Naruto was the son of the fourth Hokage, Neji would totally say, I told you so. I do think that Neji would take a hands-on role in training Boruto though. I think that Boruto would be a lot stronger if Neji was alive. When it comes to Kara, I would love to see Neji fight against some of the Kara members. And Black Guy asks, what do you think are the 3 worst narrative decisions made in the Boruto story so far? So off the top of my head, the 3 worst narrative decisions, I think that when you look at the anime took far too long getting to the versus Momoshiki arc. I think that the anime focus, this is number 2, I think the anime overkilled much in the same way that Naruto and Naruto Shippuden overkilled Sakura Hidden Naruto. I think that the Boruto anime overplayed their hand with Boruto's a brat. And then the 3rd decision that I think that was the worst narrative decision is not actually showing us more of the actual training. I know that these characters are geniuses, but I definitely think that giving them something to actually strive and work for, even if they're learning the stuff in record time, I think actually seeing that training and seeing the older generation take the time to train these characters is something a lot of people would have liked to see. So that's gonna be it for the Patreon portion. So obviously this video is gonna be longer than usual because I spent some time over here on Patreon. So let's go over here to the actual YouTube channel. Post a question saying nothing is off limits. So we're just gonna go right into it. So Andrew Merriweather asks if Naruto had his haircut when he, oh, this is a good question. If Naruto had his haircut when he became Hokage, then why is his hair normal on the Stone Mountain? So this was my take on that. So I noticed that in 2014 when Naruto chapter 700 came out. I said, wait a second, like Naruto's hair looks a little different than how it is on the actual Hokage monument. And the only thing I can think of is that was probably something where it's like, hey, this is the version of Naruto that people know. Let's just go with that. That's just kind of how I looked at it. I think that that was a picture of Naruto that was given, and the guy that chiseled the Hokage monument, that's what they went with. That's how I've always interpreted it. Usman Ahmad asks 10-10 versus 8. There's nothing more to say. I just read the words right off of you, man. Didn't even think about it. Yeah, obviously Lady 10-10 solos because Lady 10-10 is the Sage of Six Paths, and even though Ada has the Knights of Ada, Lady 10-10 has the 4 Horsemen of 10-10. Let's see. The one and only says, has Naruto completely stopped his Sage training since tapping into KCM? Does anybody else find it odd that Naruto and Konohamaru were not made aware of Koji's time in Mount Miyaboku by the Toads? So here's the thing. Kashi and Koji, I don't want to spoil for anime only fans, but Kashi and Koji, we saw it in the anime. Kashi and Koji use Sage Mode. If you look very closely in episode 204 when he was spying on the Toads, if you look around the character's eyes, you can see the pigmentation. Good foreshadowing by the anime there. But when it comes to Koji, I don't think he's actually gone through the training. I think that because of the revelation of who Kashi and Koji is, I think that that's why. But I always found it funny that like Konohamaru never told Naruto like, hey, this dude was summoning toads. That was a point that I found very interesting that never got brought up in the manga. As far as did Naruto stop his Sage training? Yeah. Once Naruto became Hokage, like it was stated in the light novels, Naruto and Shikamaru, once Naruto ascended to that role, Naruto became very rusty. Shikamaru outright quit training. It's the same thing with Naruto. That's why Kurama and Naruto Gaiden was like, man, you are really rusty. And the Boruto movie novelization, there's a passing line, if I'm not mistaken, saying that Naruto's not in battle shape. So I mean, that makes sense. Aline Tuber YT asks, was there ever a time you just sat down and reflected on how far you've come? Man, that's such a deep ass question, man. Honestly, man, yeah, like literally I take time and I just sit back and I think about, and this isn't just YouTube, this is just life in general. I take time and I think about where I started from. I think about the people that are no longer here, especially after last year. I think about the people that are no longer here. I think about how, even though I've got some personal changes in my challenges in my professional life that are going on, because as you guys, a lot of you guys know, I have a job outside of YouTube. I find it so odd that people that I wanted to share everything with, people I wanted to share everything with, are no longer here, and I can't share it with them. Like I've got a little bit more time now. than I've had in years. I'm in a good space, all over the place, and I can't share it with the people that I love the most. And that's something that, you know, I would say to all of you. I would say, don't take people for granted, because you don't know when their last day is. It's cliche, it's corny, but take it from somebody like me. Take it from somebody like me. Like, my mom's still alive, my grandmom's still alive, my nephew's alive, my sister's alive, so I can share moments with them. But the people that I really, really love, that they weren't blood, but I love them in some cases more than my own blood, they're no longer here. They're no longer here, and I can't share any of this stuff with them. And it twists me up inside. It twists me up. I always said, well, you know, if I can hit this box, if I can hit this moment, then, you know, I'll be able to do this with them. Now I wish that when it came to some of those trips, I took some of those trips with some of those people. You know, now I wish that, you know, I just slowed down a second and said, yeah, you know, screw it. Let's just chill out. Like, I sacrificed a lot, but, you know, every 3 months I reflect on that, and then I think about my goals, and I ask myself, how close am I to actually achieving the goals that I want? One of the goals I wanted was to get out of the medical debt and the student loan debt that I have. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. A lot of my decisions are based on finances, and it's something to where now I kind of wish I didn't take that approach, but you can't take time back. You can only move forward. So yeah, I do take time and reflect. Good question. Wayne Roden asks, what if Naruto knew about the shadow clone speed training when he was learning the summoning jutsu? If Naruto learned about that back in part 1, Naruto be absolutely broken. Starks asks, when Obito was controlling Yagura, did Obito rule as a tyrant over the hidden miss because he was still upset about them behind Ren's death? I always looked at it like, you know, Obito basically took over Yagura's body and used it as a way to get back at the Mist Village. I always looked at it as that way. Arnie Madrid asks, at the end of the time travel arc, we see Sasuke and Boruto interacting with the Otsutsuki turtle, and the turtle says something like they can use it one more time, and Sasuke basically says, no, we're good. How possible do you think it is we'll see the turtle used again? P.S. Love the channel, man. Keep up what you're doing, man. Thank you for the support. Honestly, I don't think that, even though Kishimoto wrote that arc, I don't think that turtle's gonna come back. I feel like that's a line that should have just been stricken from the books. I don't think that turtle's gonna come back. The Real Bills asks, I'm curious what your top 5 anime are. So my top 5 animes actually updated and changed, man. So when it comes to my top 5 favorite anime, it'll be Rurouni Kenshin at 1, Code Geass at 2, Death Note at 3, 4 I'm gonna go with Violent Evergarden, and 5 I'm gonna go with ReZero. I just recently finished ReZero at the suggestion of the homie Six Pass, as well as an editor I use, Kane. So that's my top 5 anime. J Money says, all I gotta say is, when will we see the true Otsutsuki Queen Tenten in action? And I think Sakura should be given a bigger role, kinda. Man, you know, Tenten's so overpowered that she's got to be the one that's giving Deku all his quirks over in My Hero Academia. We ain't gonna be seeing her for a while. Pocket Grain 52 asks, do you think Boruto might become a junkie once he takes those pills? I think that it's possible that Boruto does get addicted to those pills. I don't think it's likely, but I do think that it's possible. Mike Guy asks, people keep forgetting that Naruto already has wood style, but it's best in the morning when he wakes up. I love a good dirty joke, man. And if you read Naruto, you should too, given Kishimoto slips in dirty jokes. King S says, do you think Code and Ada will be able to defeat Naruto and Sasuke, or are they going to be nerfed like always? Also, congrats for 230 subs, bro. I think that Code, based on the last manga chapter, makes it clear he thinks he can beat Naruto and Sasuke one-on-one, but just like Momoshiki, I think that Code is very wary of that, because if you look at the Boruto movie novelization, Momoshiki has a line in there where he says that he does not want to fight Naruto and Sasuke 2 versus 1 because of their teamwork. Donovan Raymond asks, do you think they'll finally explore the Uzumaki clan and more sealing jutsu in Boruto? You know, that's actually interesting, man. I think that when it comes to the Uzumaki clan, there's a possibility that they explored. I would like to see it. I think that the fact that there are other Uzumaki spread out across the world, I think that somebody has to hold a grudge against Konoha because they were a nation, the Hidden Whirlpool Village, in the Land of Eddies. They were under the protection of the Land of Fire. That's the whole reason why Konoha has their crest on their jackets. It was a sign of mutual respect, and they got wiped out. I think it'd be cool if there was somebody that was a survivor of the Land of Eddies that decided to take revenge on Konoha, or maybe they have a child that does it. I think that Naruto confronting part of that while he's Hokage, I think that would make a really good Boruto movie. Let's see. John FNM says, if Neji was alive, how do you think his interactions with Boruto would have been? Same with Itachi and Sarada. I think that both of them would have benefited by having their uncles. I think that Uncle Neji would have made Boruto more powerful, and I think Uncle Itachi would have made Sarada probably the strongest new gen character. Ice Eagle asks, how do you think the manga is going to end before the time skip? After the last chapter, I think that somebody is going to get caught slipping by Daemon. I think that that's probably something that's going to happen. I personally would like to see it where they basically build up all the support and they go into a time skip with Code and Ada. I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think that the likely scenario is that something happens with Boruto and Kawaki and Ada is able to win over Kawaki. I think that that's probably how your time skip's gonna start. However, that's gonna be it for this Q&A, and I gotta say, man, even though we're bringing this one to a close, I absolutely enjoyed the questions I got out of this one. I actually recorded an hour and a half worth of content, so there's gonna be more Q&As coming in the future. I'm gonna continue on with this, so if you didn't see your question on this one, make sure to check out the next Q&A because there's probably a good chance that it pops up in that one because I answered quite a few questions, and I'm gonna do this format in the future where I'm gonna give the people on Patreon the opportunity to ask questions first, and then I'm gonna transition to the YouTube channel. I think that's, you know, something like a little extra bonus for the patrons. Would be something pretty cool to actually do that. But I love reading the comments every day. It brings a smile to my face just seeing you guys questions and comments, and you know, seeing the feedback that I get on the different videos and seeing you guys interact with each other in the community section. Very, very fun to actually see all that, man. Like, I'm working on, you know, a few extra things. I'm thinking about, like I said earlier, adding an extra anime on top of the Naruto content you already get. So you basically get Naruto content daily. I'm thinking about adding one more video a week for another anime. I'm thinking about I'm trying to work out the logistics on it, but you know, I'm thinking about trying to do watch parties and, you know, doing blind reactions to different anime. It's gonna be a little tricky because I'm not gonna show my face on that one, but I'm playing with a few different things to, you know, kind of interact with you guys a little bit more and kind of, you know, continue to build this family that we got over here. So thank you guys again for the support. You guys have no idea how much your support has helped me through so many different things, and if my content's been able to bring a smile on your face or help you kill time, it is something that I absolutely do not take for granted. So as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day, guys.